Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you for coming. This is for a really good cause. It's also something that students have been working on very diligently for several weeks. We started at the beginning of the year memorizing Daniel 3 all together as a class, and then we split it up into parts, and now we're presenting it as a play. We've been doing it for slightly more audience. We've done it twice for little audiences. You are definitely our largest audience. So, a few things. They're young performers, so flashes are a little unnerving. So if you could hold flash photography during their performance, afterwards, you can have them pose however you jolly well please and take as many flash pictures as you want. But during the performance, anything we can do to not startle them would be good. Oh, little people in the back, there's seats right here if you want to sit where you can see Joel and Josh. You want to come right up here? All right. Anything else? All right. I did leave the donation box. If you didn't make a donation, you don't have to, but it's for a great cause. Comforting Mercies Ministries makes foreign language CDs, sends it to places where it's hard to get the gospel. It's geared toward younger children so they can hear the gospel for the first time often. But of course, in that process, their families hear the gospel, friends, neighbors. So the estimate is about 8 people hear the gospel for every CD, and it's about $1 for every CD. So this is a great ministry and one that I can wholeheartedly support. So if on your way out, the Spirit leads you in that direction, it's right there at the door. In the meantime, please enjoy. Oh, and if you can clap after I announce the title, that'd be really helpful. All right, please enjoy the golden image of Nebuchadnezzar.
Which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Then the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Then an herald cried aloud, To you it is commanded, all people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image which Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth shall that same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Wherefore at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, all the people, nations, and languages fell down and worshipped the golden image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came and accused the Jews, and they spake and said, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that any man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, shall that same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace.
There are certain Jews who now have set over the affairs of the province of Babylon.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
These men, O king, have not regarded thee.
They serve not thy gods.
They worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king.
Then the king spake and said unto them,
Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, do not ye serve my gods, or worship the golden image which I have set up? Now, if ye be ready, at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image which I have made well. But if ye worship not, ye cast that same hour in the midst of a burning, fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands?
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said unto the king,
O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times hotter than it was wont to be heated. Then Nebuchadnezzar commanded his most mighty men in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the midst of a burning, fiery furnace. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of a burning, fiery furnace.
Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flames of fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach.
3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of a burning, fiery furnace. Then was Nebuchadnezzar astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake and said unto his counselors, And now we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire?
They answered and said,
True, O king.
He answered and said,
Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near the mouth of the fire, and he spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the fire. Then the princes, the governors, the captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was a hair of their heads singed, neither were their coats changed,
nor the smell of fire had passed on them.
Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and hath delivered his servants that have trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and have yielded their bodies, that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own God. Therefore I make a decree that any people, nation, and language that speak anything amidst against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill. Because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort.
Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach,
that you can come and grab them and take pictures and whatever else. And when you are done with that, they know how to hang up their costumes. And once they've hung up their costumes, they are free to go. Thank you so much for coming.